So we're asking, is the chase only for the guys, huh?
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna have to say that's a no. I mean, I want to define chasing first before I say that.
Go ahead.
All right. So to me, I feel like if you know what you want, or you know you enjoy who you enjoy, then you should pursue them. Now, our chase is a little bit different. It's more like a laying out of the plot. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like it's laying. I don't want to say laying a trap, but you know what I mean.
I don't set yourself in a trap.
You put out what you your expectations. You put out, just please somebody else chime in.
I think the pressure actually, I feel like the pressure falls on the woman, because when we have to make sure we're always looking nice, we have to make sure we keep that person's attention. I think it's more pressure on the woman than the man.
Exactly.
I mean the man know what they want, but after you get in the relationship, it's like, okay, I want to make sure I hold his attention. I need to do this, you know. And
but I mean, I feel like so many women they lose sight of that point, because especially when life starts to build on you, have more and more responsibility. You've got your career. Maybe you want to go back to school and excel further in your scholastics. Maybe now you have kids. Maybe it's just a lot of different things that will hinder a woman's ability to feel like that is a priority. The chase and satisfying her man is a priority. So for me, I feel as if that pressure is more on men than women.
No way. No way. The pressure is always on the women, because we already have more pressure to look good and still do all those things you just mentioned. Like go to work, take care of the kids, you got babies, make sure the house is clean, cook a little bit of dinner, whatever, and then appease your men and still look good while doing it. Men don't have that. They don't have that obligation at all. So let's see who's
I don't believe it. Go ahead.
Valtrenda, what do you think? CJ, somebody chime in.
Well, listen, I feel like you're right. There are things that us as men, we expect out of our ladies. But again, it's wife duties, it's husband duties on both sides. So there should be a conversation to set the expectations for both sides. But in the end, there is duties that you have to, you basically signing up for. If I'm going to drop down on one knee as a man and propose to you and want to spend my life with you, I understand that there are certain things that come along with that. And women should understand that as well. But that's not to say that all those things that you mentioned aren't important. But still, like I said, when it comes to the satisfaction of the man, that falls lower on the totem pole.
Well, just know this.
I have Latricia. She says women outnumber men, so the pressure's on us to keep them interested. If not, on to the next that will.
That she's right. Very, very, very well said. Very well said. You know what I'll add? I saw this on my social media the other day. I had to mention it. Shout out to H. He made the best comment about what you should expect as a man with a woman.
And
you know the outfit, the I'll be right back, I'm going to Walmart outfit.
You talking about the bonnet on your head?
Not with the bonnet though, but except with the bonnet. But if you expect your woman to look like that most of the time, once life starts to kick in, and you're supposed to still love her anyway. That's not that she's lost sight, but you have to understand, because of the other responsibilities, then we're not going to be able to all the time maintain what we had before those responsibilities kicked in.
Nah, but see, this is my point though. I'm saying that the expectation for romance, for the chase, for there to always have a fire lit. Now, we talked about in a prior podcast where I was saying that when it comes to, hey, let's keep it new. If it ain't new, it's true, and all of this, right? All of that stuff. All those sayings are all for men to be held accountable for the lack of romance or whatever they're supposed to be doing if they're not doing it already.
I don't think so. I think the pressure is more on the women, because men are consistent. Sometimes they fall off, but you know what you're going to expect out of a man.
Hey, that's Dionisio. Hey, Dionisio.
Hey, Dio.
What's happening?
But with women, we just always have to, well, not me, but you have to, some women have to compete with other people. You have to compete with the workplace wife. You have to compete with in the grocery store. And you have to, am I keeping his attention? You have to make sure everything is still rolling when that relationship is 5-10 years in the hole. Okay,
so let's call it. The chase is definitely more on the women than the men.
Listen, I disagree.
It's more on us.
No,
it's more on us.
No, it's not, because if you want to say that, then why is it so much an expectation for the man to keep romance going in the relationship?
Now,
because that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the responsibilities and who has more pressure to do all these other things, because that's what y'all mentioned.
Because you said, you know what, it is a little bit, I do agree, because you were wooing the woman when you wanted her.
Of course.
okay, now that you got her, you can't just stop. Okay, we're going on one date every 6 months. That's horrible. She gonna find, well, I ain't gonna say she gonna find interest, but you know, it's hard.
Right.
And you have to keep that up. You can't, oh, okay, I done took her on 3 or 4 dates this week. You have to keep that momentum up. Don't start nothing if you can't finish it.
Well,
basically.
But still, that's what I'm saying. You're basically buffering my point. Is that, okay, boom, I was chasing you, I was courting you, I was doing things to keep the romance in the relationship, and that expectation is still there once the relationship is continued and we've committed to each other. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is that's the expectation for the man to do that.
So then, okay, this is what we can do then. Here's a solution, okay, for the guy that feels like, okay, it's all on me to keep the relationship, keep the fires burning. If you feel like that, what you can do is maybe take the weight off of your girl.
Right.
Maybe make it a little easier for her so that she can cater to you or spend more time with you, and not just like on Valentine's Day or the holidays.
Have
but
you
more
had
often.
that conversation?
Yeah.
This is the thing. When a man does have that conversation, or when a man does say, hey, you know what? In order for us to be able to have our time more, let me do this, let me do that, let me take some of this off your plate. There are some women that will take that, acknowledge it, recognize it, and appreciate it. Then you have another group of women that will see that and feel like, okay, well, this is just duties that I would have had to do anyway. So instead of appreciating the fact that a man is stepping up and trying to alleviate some of the duties she has, they just look like, well, you're supposed to do that anyway. So I'm going to go to sleep.
That kind of woman.
You just, you put the kids to bed, you make sure they done it, and then, okay, I'm going to bed. And when I wake up, don't bother me about this. Because, okay, well, whatever you're complaining about doing, I do already. That's what y'all would say. Well, I do this 9 to 5, I do this every day of the week. So now that I did try to take this off your plate, you still don't acknowledge that as a favor for you or something that I'm trying to do to better our
So we got some comments here. Women should hold men accountable and set their expectations. Sometimes if we don't articulate that, that's kind of our, I will say that some women can be at fault for not articulating what their needs are, but I just feel like if you are just let it slide, you're just going to pick up any guy, then you probably shouldn't have an expectation to him to keep the romance going.
We have lowered our expectation. You can inbox with somebody for 5-6 weeks and then people moving in together. No. We have to, look, this is what I want out this relationship. Mm-hmm. This is what we need to do together if you want to be with me, blah, blah, blah. And go from there. And that goes back to the topic of you know, who does what and, you know, what is important in your relationship. You have to make those things known before you even get locked in with someone.
So then I think that some of that is.
I still feel like women get excused for a lack of activity on their part.
Not true.
I've seen women who've been with men.
Statistically, we don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Statistically,
like I was just reading an article today about Tampa Bay talking about how many single people and never been married millennials are out there, and the women, I don't have the exact number, they outnumber the men. So just by the sheer fact that there's more of us, the obligation is on us to deliver the romance and switch it up and do all this stuff like that. It is not on the men. The men have it easy. I'm so sorry.
Nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yes, Stephanie said women these days have not been taught to have more respect for themselves. Chivalry is not dead. I require to be treated like a lady. I do agree, but I feel like it's on both parts.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm sorry to cut you off. It's the chivalry to me is not what I'm addressing. I'm addressing the fact that it's lopsided. It's one-sided. It's an imbalance when it comes to the pressures of keeping that fire lit in a relationship. Now, we talked about the responsibilities of a woman. We talked about doing some things to alleviate the responsibilities that she may have. We talked about all of those things, but I'm strictly pinpointing one issue. I'm tunnel vision on this. The fact that, again, when you are in a long-term relationship or marriage, because, like you said, you have all of these things going on when it comes to romance, those other things trump the romance.
Well,
it's
then,
like, okay, well, you need to send us on a date. You need to do that.
What do you suggest then? What do you, as a man, suggest, since you feel, Clarence, that the man is stuck with the chase and bringing the romance, and the woman kind of gets a pass according to your male point of view? Educate us on what we can do to change that.
Well, like I said, we all know communication is most needed in a relationship, so we all gonna know to start from there. But at the same time, when it comes to that conversation, both sides have to be completely honest. And that might be one of those conversations, fellas, that you're gonna have to venture into, and you're gonna have to be protected. You're gonna have to put your armor on. You're gonna have to put,
and be ready for them answers.
Right, and be ready, because again, you know, to me, I feel like it's certain areas in your relationship that you want to be that are really good, but you got to cross a rocky road to get there. So for you to be solid long term, y'all have to understand one another and understand each other's needs, understand each other's desires, or what they might feel is an issue in a relationship. But let me ask you this: if there are women that say that, okay, well, whatever you ain't doing for your man, somebody else will, right? And I'm gonna go there because I do feel like
are we still PG right now?
Yes, this is another topic.
Yes,
We
yes,
changed topics.
No, we on the topic of, is the chase only for men? And I go into this area because, again, there are women that will have that mindset of, hey, you know, if my man needs something when it comes to romance partner, when it comes to attention, like, I'm all over that.
Brittany just said men require a lot of attention.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Newborn babies.
Nah, it ain't that serious. It really isn't. But still, oh, you have good women that will feel like, hey, if I don't do certain things, if I'm not paying attention to my mate the way that he expects me to, then there's a good chance that someone else is going to fill my shoes. So you have women that will feel like, you know, men are at fault because they succumb to some of this attention that they get from work, from women that are in their peer circle and things like that. But then there have other women that will say, girl, you need to be on your job.
Well, no, I say this.